We're here at Jazz Live with Dave Valentin. Thanks for being with us tonight, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the band that you've brought in tonight for Jazz Live?
Well, I'll use the first names. We have Chimbo on congas, we have Oscar on bass, we have Luke on piano, and we have Phoenix on drums. Now, basically, this is not my band. This is a Bentetu. A Bentetu are guys that get together and play, which was conceived by Jason Franklin. He's the promoter of this gig. But we have played together in different situations before, in different occasions before. But they know what they're doing, and I'm very, very happy that they're playing with me.
So, and is this a band that plays with you on the West Coast, or is it just put together?
It's sometimes it could be another bass player, it could be another drummer, it could be another. But Jason Franklin puts these configurations together, but this is not my band, because my band is Bill O'Connell, Lincoln Goins, Robbie Amin, and sometimes Giovanni Hidalgo, Richie Flores, or Menton Cardona.
And those are the people who recorded on your most recent release, Come Fly With Me, correct?
That's correct.
So then, how often do you play with your band? Is that a regular thing?
In this day and age, musicians are not working too much, so we try to generate other ways of playing and other ways of bringing the music to the public. I play a lot. And I think I'm maybe, not to be egotistical, but I'm maybe one of the only flautists left around that can play the genre of all musics.
Of all musics, is that what you said?
That's correct.
So let's talk a little bit about that then, because that is really one of the things that people talk about a lot about you is how you've played a lot of different kinds of world music, and you haven't just played straight up what people call straight up Latin music. You've added lots of different things.
Well, I played with Conjunto Libre, which for 7 years. That was we call it today salsa. But what we do is to take jazz and insert Afro-Cuban rhythms into the music, and that's what people are hearing, basically, kind of.
So, with your most recent release, "Come Fly With Me," that was one of the things that I had been reading was called more of a straight down the middle Latin album for you.
It's not a Latin album.
Was it any? So how? So
it's not a Latin album.
Do you know what people are talking about then when they talk about how this album might be different from any of your previous ones in that it's more Latin than others?
I don't understand that.
Really?
Because this is like every album that I've done, maybe 25 to date, it's just a child that's born, and every day is different. And this is my child. And, all children are different. If you're a father, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So have you always had an approach to try to bring lots of different things into your music? Lots of different influences?
Being born in the South Bronx, I've been through a lot of stuff. But when I was 9 years old, I saw Mongo Santa Maria play in Central Park and Herbie Mann when I was 9. And that changed my life in a way. Because I saw the reaction of the people when Herbie was playing. And I looked back, and the people were mesmerized. And in my mind, at 9, I said, I would love to affect people like that. And that's when it started. But I was playing drums since I was 5.
And so what do you think it was about Herbie Mann that had people mesmerized more than others?
I have no idea. I think it's the flute. I think the flute is one of the oldest instruments in the world besides percussion. And it just goes to the core of your spirit, the flute. And, you're around a campfire or whatever it is. It just brings back memories of, you're going to kill a goat or something. I have no idea. Something like that.
It has some primal...
some primal stuff.
Some primal stuff to it. Well, then can you tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to the flute and became and took that up as your instrument?
I went to high school of music and art as a percussion major, and I wanted to meet a girl when I was 16, Irene, so I had no interest in the flute at all, if you know what I mean.
When it came to Irene.
Yes, when it came to Irene, exactly. There was a certain primal instinct that I wanted to accomplish. And so I asked her to show me something on the flute. So she showed me a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Did that. She gave me her flute, and I played it like instantly. And she went, that's impossible. It's amazing. It's impossible. It's amazing. So I borrowed a flute, and I bought a Herbie Mann record live at Newport, and I learned Coming Home Baby. Right? Mm-hmm. Without knowing nothing about the flute now. This is where it started. Mm-hmm. So, booty baby, for the way about that baby. Right? 3 weeks I came, and I said, I know I got her. So I played Coming Home Baby for her, right? And she just, I said, I know I got her. So when I finished, she says, Dave, I've been taking lessons for 3 years, and you come in 3 weeks and play like that? Go away. Lost the girl, kept the flute.
Want nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with me. And that's a true story.
So that couldn't been then to be able to pick that up like that. I'm sure that was amazing, but there was probably there was music in your background by that point that allowed you to hear music in that way.
My parents had all the Latin, like Orquesta Aragon, Pacheco, Richard Egues, Fajardo, and Tito Rodriguez, Tito Puente, Machito. They had all this music, and I grew up. Every Saturday our family would get together and have a big party in the South Bronx, Fox Street and Tiffany, and we all get together and I would listen to this music. Right. It just like was inserted into my spirit.
Mm-hmm. Was flute your first instrument, or didn't
you
played, play?
My father was a merchant marine, so he brought me from Brazil. He brought me bongos, a conga, and a gourd and a weedle.
And that's what you started on?
Yeah.
And you played percussion up until you picked up the flute and
exactly.
Tried to pick up.
I was a percussion major at High School of Music and Art in New York.
Excellent.
I played drums. I played timpanis. In fact, I took the test of Love of the Three Oranges, Prokofiev. I played that on snare drum. I played Moon River on the piano, and I read something on marimba, and I got into the school.
Excellent. Well, so I wanted to know a little bit about the music of Puerto Rico as it fits into the Latin genre, because I've heard that you have at times wanted to elevate that as in comparison to, say, the Cuban influence on Latin music. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, don't forget the Puerto Ricans adopted the Cuban music. We adopted that. Guaguancó, Son Montuno. Mm-hmm. But in Puerto Rico, we have La Bomba, La Plena, and Danza. That is Puerto Rican music. Mm-hmm. Now, el danzón is Cuban, la danza is Puerto Rican. La Bomba y Plena is Puerto Rican, mm-hmm. basic to the island. Right. And a lot of other things, Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about Son Montuno, Guaguancó, Cha-Cha-Cha, Danzón, that's Cuban. Mm-hmm. I went, Alcaño is the one who took the Danzón and put the Cha-Cha-Cha into the Danzón, because it's basically a Danzón it's a classical form of music. And it was European, When the slaves were there, they used to bring in violins, and it was all European things. But the slaves used to be outside banging on milk crates to the music, you see.
Mm-hmm. So then, what are some of the characteristics in particular of the Puerto Rican versions of those Cuban things? What kind of things would a listener of...
It's like a sister and a brother.
Really?
Yes.
The differences are not that noticeable.
They're not that noticeable. Mm-hmm. But you have people like Arturo Sandoval, and but you have people like Pito Rodriguez, another trumpet player, great Puerto Rican, mm-hmm. great Cuban. Look, we all come from the same boat, basically.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about your latest disc, Come Fly With Me. One of the things that we were talking about earlier was some of the artwork on it, and how you picked up a bird and you wanted to kind of illustrate what you were doing on Come Fly With Me. I'll
tell you because my second album was called The Hawk. Mm-hmm. We got a real hawk. That was my second album. That was 1977, I think, right around there. So this Come Fly With Me. I mean, I'm a Frank Sinatra. Forget about it. I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Come fly with me. Let's. So Joe Fields, he found this store where they had birds. So I'm looking for a bird, like a real big bird, So this little guy, as I'm walking around, is looking at me in the cage. This little guy here. Now, this bird's name is Tito when you see the album cover. And so I pull out my flute. And the bird just follows me all over the store. He doesn't get his eyes off me. I said, let him out the cage. Let him out. I'm playing. This bird flew onto my flute. And that's this picture right here.
Really?
He went right on. He didn't take, look, he's looking right straight at me.
He is.
He's the star of this record. And he was great. It's a very rare bird. He was already brought by some people, but his name is Tito. So I thought of Tito Puente, you know.
Right. You had mentioned your earlier album, The Hawk, and one thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about was you're now recording for High Note.
High Note Records, yeah. Joe Fields and Barney, yeah.
And you had a very long career of recording for GRP.
That's correct.
So have there been any changes, to your music or anything that has happened since you've gone to High Note? Are your records different? Are you doing anything differently for them? Because High Note is much more known as a more mainstream jazz label than GRP.
Did you listen to this?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hold on.
But from your standpoint.
From my standpoint, if you look at GRP, you'll notice that they let me do whatever I wanted. I was the first artist signed on GRP. I was going out with Angela Bofield at that time. She was the second artist signed. I sold 90,000 units on Legends. Steve Gadd, Anthony Jackson, Rubens Bassini, and we can go on and on.
Very prestigious and
right. And then they were looking for
those.
another artist, and Angela Bofield I was going out with Angie, and she sold 250,000 units, and I could do whatever the hell I wanted. After that, Dave Grusin, Larry Rosen said, "Just do what you want." So I was never pressured to do anything that I didn't believe in. Thanks to Larry and Dave.
Right. And so
with Joe Fields and Barney, they don't question. They just go for it, Dave. Do whatever you want.
So are there particular genres of music or things that you're hearing today that you want to begin to incorporate in your music going forward, or any things that you're looking at going forward?
I just want to go forward.
Good. That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
But,
and then I think of all kinds. Brazilian, Japanese. I think of Peruvian. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm thinking of.
That you'd like to do.
Yeah. Life is a progressive thing.
Right.
And especially in music, I've been around for a while. I'm 55. I still have my hair, by the way, people. If you're watching this video right here, and
they will be.
But what we want to do is explore our possibilities. I think every musician should explore their possibilities. And if you try something, let's say you're thinking about something, but you never do it, you fail. But if you try something and you fail, you actually did it. So that's my concept. Just try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But try it.
Right.
Because you'll live your whole life saying, I should have done this and I didn't. And that goes for regardless whether it's music or whether you're a mother or father, sister or brother, teacher, whatever it is. That's the way I think about life.
So do you have any particular projects that you're working to? This was the last disc.
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, I'm a Frank Sinatra buff, but now, Tony Bennett has gotten better, like wine with time. So I am going to do I want to be around to pick up the pieces when somebody breaks your heart. And I'm going to do it as what we call in clave. Like that.
Excellent. Well, Dave, thank you so much for being with us at Jazz Live, and best of luck going forward in everything you do.
Thank you. And I want to thank San Diego and all the people that are going to come to the show. What you see is what you get. Not to say anything, but you're not going to hear Kenny G.
Cool. Do you want to just add in while you're here a chance to find out more about Dave Valentin? Just ask that question and Dave could answer it and I'll edit it in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So where can people find more about Dave Valentin?
Well, I don't have a cell phone. I don't have email. Okay? I just have a music computer. That's where I work. But some guy told me, I would love to Google you. I said, no, I don't go that way, man. I don't go that way. So I didn't know what Google was. But then I Googled myself. It felt great. No. And I saw my whole life right there. And then YouTube. Somebody played me YouTube. And it was amazing. So if you want to find out about Dave Valentin, you can Google me. You can go to the internet, or you can go to YouTube. And I got one video with Herbie Mann, one video with Tito Puente, one video with Mario Rivera, who's Phoenix's father, who's one of the greatest musicians, most dedicated musician of all time. So if you want to find out about Dave Valentin, you know by listening to me now who I am. But if you want to find out more, just do that stuff.
Oh, and then let's go ahead and we'll spell your name for folks so that they know. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Dave, D-A-V-E. Dave, V-A-L-E-N-T-I-N. No E. It's like Valentine without the E.
excellent. Well, thanks for clearing that up and hanging with us.
Oh, and
tonight.
let me share something with you. When I played with Dizzy, he says, remember never to forget, and forget never to remember. If you can figure that out, you're in good shape. Tito Puente. If you're tired, stay home. If you can't walk, sit down. If you can't drive, don't. But if you're going to play, play.